Welcome to our garden here in Zone 6A, Upstate New York. It is mid-November, and believe it or not, winter is right around the corner. So today we're going to spend time in the garden preparing some of our favorites for those cold winter months. And we're going to start right here with our first hydrangea example. Now, Christopher, you know we have what, 200?
I think we're at 216 maybe hydrangeas
in the garden, all different varieties. And we want to show you how we prepare each variety for the upcoming winter months. And Christopher's going to go through and show you how we're preparing roses for the winter months. But right here is a Limelight Prime hydrangea. This is an improved version of the Limelight hydrangea. So it has nice, straight, strong stems, beautiful cone-shaped flowers on it, and it blooms on new wood. And what that means is the growth it's putting out next year is that's where the flower is going to bloom from. So we don't have to worry about pruning it the wrong way. It's going to be totally fine. Now, the reason we deadhead our Panicle hydrangeas in the fall is because we live in upstate New York. We live right where the Mohawk River and the Hudson River meet, and we get super cold, super wet, heavy snow. And what's going to happen is that collects here, and it'll push this down to the ground. And all we're going to do is deadhead them. This is not pruning. Pruning is for, shaping and growth in the springtime. Right now, this is just protection from our winter. We're not taking off very much more than just the flower head. And with these flower heads, you could, bring them inside. You could decorate with them. You could use them for kindling, for your fireplace or whatever. We're going to toss ours because I have sprayed these with deer spray to keep the deer from eating them.
and they smell.
So we're not going to bring them in the house. You know what I just realized we could do with these?
What?
We could put them in the plant protectors over the Bigleaf hydrangeas.
Instead of using leaves, this would probably be...
We should save these for that. And they smell like deer spray, so it'll keep the deer away from them.
Oh my goodness. So we have winter covers that we put on some of our less bud hardy hydrangeas over the winter time. And we were going to fill those with leaves, but this is a really great idea.
Yeah.
It'll also be easier to clean up than a big pile of leaves in those plant protectors. That will be taken care of in another couple of weeks.
Yes. It's too soon to cover them. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Right here on our west border, we have Let's Dance Rhythmic Blue. We just planted these past spring. This is a big leaf or Hydrangea macrophylla type hydrangea, and that means that it blooms on old wood. So that next year's flowers are there right now. So Christopher, come on in here and look. In here, you're going to see buds. Do you see that?
I see them, the little red buds.
So those are all next year's flowers. Look down here. Look, tons of them. So we want to be very careful when we deadhead these. But I want to preface that by saying we don't have to deadhead these, but we want to because of our experience with that cold, icy snow in the winter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully look underneath here and go right to the very first set of leaves and snip there. I don't want to go any further. Right here, I'll go right above this first double set of leaves. And look, you can see those buds.
Right below it.
Right below it. So those are next year's flowers. We don't want to cut them off. We'll come here. Double set of leaves is right here. Cut it off. And this is going to really help preserve the integrity of the shrub for next season.
And of course, these being a Let's Dance series, it does mean that they have a reblooming capability. So if something happens to these hydrangeas where we did prune them incorrectly, we would still get flowers later in the season, but we're not paying attention to that at the moment. This would go for all big leaf hydrangeas, even the ones that don't rebloom. You just want to nip off those old flowers so that you don't mess up with your early spring bloom.
Yes. Very careful. I think that's all of them.
That's all of them.
And then back behind that is a baby Pinky Winky. Check that out. This one, it's a tiny specimen right now. It's just a baby. But because, look at how big that flower head is. We don't want to snap that right there. So I'm just going to deadhead it a bit. This is pretty far along as far as dried up.
Yeah, they definitely dried up quickly with this weird summer into fall transition we had.
All right, let's go on to the next variety. So we've done Panicle, which blooms on new wood. We have done Macrophylla, which blooms on old wood. Let's check out some arborescence types. This right here is one of my favorite varieties of smooth leaf hydrangea or hydrangea arborescens. This is Invincibelle Spirit 2. It's an improved version of Invincibelle Spirit. It blooms on new wood, and what that means is just like the Panicle variety, you can just cut it however you need to cut it, and whatever growth it puts out next year, that's what it's going to flower on. You can see that these are very faded flowers. Again, with this variety, we're just going to deadhead it because look how big this is. That would catch a lot of snow in our garden and push it right to the ground. And then next spring we'll go in and we'll worry about pruning it correctly. So for now, we're gonna collect these flower heads, get as much of them as we can. They're pretty dried up and crispy. I don't even know if this variety would be nice to bring inside for decor. Do you think?
No, if we had caught them before the frost and they still had a little bit of the pink to them, they might be a nicer idea, but I don't know. I don't think it's that necessary.
So right now, this is just about deadheading to protect the plant from breakage in the winter. Now, if you lived in an area that did not have that wet, heavy snow like we have, and you just had like nice, pretty snow, like other places seem to get, and you left these up, what would happen is eventually over the season, these would disintegrate and blow away. And then you wouldn't have to worry about it. So we just have this extra little step because of our growing zone.
And Eric, the Quickfire Standard, which is a Panicle hydrangea up behind, it's so gorgeous. Because it's got that lacier bloom, do you think we need to prune or can we leave those?
So our experience with Quickfire has been that we can leave Quickfire's flowers up because they are so sparse and airy. And those branches look pretty good. I mean, we could deadhead it if we wanted.
Can I be honest? It's also harder to get to that one. So thank goodness it's a lace and we don't have to do anything to it.
Yes. Now we had a lot of problems with slugs and snails on our smooth leaf hydrangeas this spring. And we did some research on it and we are prepared for next year. What we're gonna do next February, believe it or not, February and March is when you start putting out your slug and snail bait to combat your slugs
Mollusks.
and snails. Yeah,
The
I didn't
mollusk.
realize that.
Molluscicides, I think they're called.
Yeah, I didn't realize that that is what the time was, that they were all kind of reproducing and doing their thing.
If anyone has a favorite molluscicide or, remover of the slugs and snails, please pop that in the comments and we'll be investigating that over the winter.
Yeah, something that's like reasonably priced.
Yeah, I've seen some very expensive
and
products.
easy to get a hold of. Because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever tried to like order things online, but sometimes they won't ship them to your state too.
All kinds of rules with that stuff. Now, as Eric is doing that, I can't help but notice, let me spin around a little bit. Remember, we have this mixed hedge of arborescens hydrangeas. There are 4 different types here. And yes, we will go through and give them all a trim. That might happen a little while after we finish filming today, but ooh, there's a little bit of, there's some insulation for the winter protection right there.
Anything that falls on the ground here, we're gonna just leave as winter insulation. We don't tend to really super clean up our beds unless there's been a disease problem.
Yeah, if you see a lot of powdery mildew on plants or any other kinds of fungus related things or goodness, any virus or something like that, then you really want to clean up those leaves underneath. But if you've got mostly clean plants, it's going to get topped up with mulch in the spring anyway. In our case, we use compost as mulch. So I feel like this just kind of makes it super composty. Looks good.
I think overall this is pretty good. We've got a couple more varieties of hydrangea to talk about.
Well, we have the Oakleaf hydrangea, our biggest hydrangea, which is right behind us.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you what we do with that. This is our Gatsby Pink Oakleaf Hydrangea, and what we do to prepare it for the winter season is nothing. These flowers are just gonna crisp up and blow away. They're super lightweight. Snow is not really gonna catch on them at all. They're not really even strong enough to hold snow. Oakleaf hydrangeas bloom on old wood, so we don't wanna really prune it unless we super duper have to. For shape, it is encroaching a little bit back here on the hose stuff. Do you want me to cut a branch or two away or just leave it and see what happens?
Well, honestly, if those branches, there's one kind of pointing up towards the house right there.
This one?
That right there, is that one going to be a problem for accessing the hose area?
No, not from where I'm standing.
In that
You
case,
could definitely fit back
nothing.
there. And then the other type of hydrangea we have in the garden is this way, Christopher. Follow me. We have mountain hydrangeas or Hydrangea serrata. A great example of that is Tuff Stuff Top Fun, which did very well for us this year.
Such a pretty hydrangea.
Look at our hostas. Jeez Louise.
Ooh, it's very soon
gonna be
time
sludgy.
to get rid of those perennials.
Oh, and our Let's Dance Sky Views. So
This,
pretty.
Yep, this is a macrophyllus, so that will also only be deadheaded. No deeper pruning beyond that.
But look at our Tuff Stuff Top Funs. The flowers have already totally faded and are starting to disintegrate, so we don't have to do anything to these because they're not going to get caught. But you know what I do think we're going to have to really take care of before the first snowfall? Quick Fire Fab, because those are enormous.
Big old blooms right there.
Wow. And again, this is a Panicle variety. We'll just deadhead. We don't have to worry about pruning just yet until spring. So that's how we take care of each variety of hydrangea in our garden. Oh wait, I think I forgot one.
You did forget one thing.
I forgot one, over here.
I guess technically it's in the Macrophylla family, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is a Cascade hydrangea, Fairy Trail Green hydrangea. Look, Christopher, all these buds. This is a variety of big leaf hydrangea that grows outward and cascades and blooms on every node. What we're gonna do for this one, because it's hardy down to zone 6 and it's in a container, is once it really gets wintry and it's consistently below 40 degrees as the high, we're going to wheel this into the garage and store it there. So that's all our varieties of hydrangeas.
There we go. Let's talk roses. When we're talking about roses and winter, what's important for the roses are basically three things. We're worried about, again, the snow, bringing these long canes down to the ground. We're worried about rabbits that have in the past decimated our poor roses. And we also kind of tuck our roses in a little bit with a little extra compost for just a touch of insulation, and then in spring, a little extra health. So this is Reminiscent Pink, as you can see by this solitary bloom that's happening in November, blowing my mind.
I know, and it smells gorgeous.
It does. I'm not getting too close. The other day, I tried to smell a rose and it had Bobex that Eric had sprayed on it. That's gross. So again, we're not pruning for its overall shape that we want it to have in spring. All I want to do is get some of these, let's call them wayward rose canes, out of the way.
I like to call them rogue arms.
Rogue arms. I will say Reminiscent Pink. How many times have I said this now, Eric? It's the healthiest rose that I've ever seen. In November, look at this rose. Look at how clean these leaves are. Beautiful.
It really is super healthy.
So the leaves in our garden don't really fall off that readily. So if there isn't early snow, this could have quite the damage done to it. So I'm just gonna chop these
You're just
away.
bringing them to about hip height.
Yeah. And then when the time comes in spring to do a more appropriate quality pruning, we'll take you through that process. Let me just get this. Oh, look,
A verbena.
I found a verbena.
There's a big one right here. I don't know if you saw this one.
Oh, what is that attached to? My goodness. Oh, so what I was going to say about the Reminiscent series, healthy roses, they send out some wild canes. So as the growing season is going, you might have to get in there and give them a little bit of a healthy trim.
A shape.
But if I've got blooms on this rose in November, they're gonna rebloom for you, even if you take them back pretty hard. And one thing we learned this past year, because we had the rose apocalypse by the bunnies last winter, is roses do not mind being pruned very hard. So that's about it. That's all I'm gonna do for this shrub to make sure that nothing gets smushed for winter, except that one that you just discovered. Ooh.
Bye, flower.
Buy one pretty flower. An optional step that we like to add for our roses is a little bit of extra compost at the base. I think of it kind of like a little throw blanket, right? Just to give a little extra insulation, just sprinkled around the base. And then in spring, it also gives it sort of a
head start of nutrients.
Right, before we do any fertilization or anything. But since it's already so cold, this isn't really gonna make it down there and encourage any kind of root growth. A rogue branch. It's just gonna give them a little extra something. And the last step is to add our black vinyl coated chicken wire. I've only ever found it one place. It's at the Blue Big Box store, and it's only sold online.
If we have a link, I'm sure you can put it in the description.
I do have a link. I'll pop that in there.
It is hard to find.
So what I've been doing, because the 18-inch height was not available, is I've been buying the 36-inch. And then I take the time to cut it down the middle, because I've discovered that 18 inches is the height that keeps the bunnies away. So I really am just taking my tin snip and cutting down the middle. And then this, I will cut to make the correct size for the rose. I've learned the hard way, make them bigger than you need because plants grow. I did these for one of our phlox, Eric, and you can't even see the chicken wire anymore because the phlox grew through and around them.
That is true. But it also kind of holds the phlox up, so it was supportive and protective.
I like
what we all need in our lives.
We all need a little support.
And a little protection.
So this is not the most glamorous thing to apply because there's roses all over the place in here, but I will gently maneuver this in and around, and then I'll show you. All I do is take the cut ends and kind of bend them around each other, make little loops, and take a landscape staple or two, staple these into the ground, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
The cool thing is we have these right here underneath the insane color Snowfire Aronia, but you just can't tell that we even have them on there.
Yeah, especially in the height of the growing season. So first rose, let's get it protected. Because that's what you really, those rabbits, they decimated some of our roses last year down to the ground. And like, what is that, girdling them? They really went after some of them. Our Teasing Georgia, remember that?
Oh, that climbing rose?
That climbing rose.
It started from the ground this year. It's still 12 feet tall though.
Yeah, but they ate that to the ground.
So I'll just link these together, do a little twisty twist. Do they make rose gauntlets that are like your whole outfit? Because I'm getting poked everywhere right now.
I'm sure you could get a whole leather outfit.
Wow. Now, all right. So I'm now officially stuck down here, but that's okay. I've got a couple more, and you need some finger dexterity, and the leather on those gloves is not helping.
I don't know. You got to choose pain or efficiency.
Eric, since I'm down here and unable to get up, could you grab me 2 landscape staples from the Gorilla cart?
Sure. I just had a moment of debating whether I should just leave you stuck there or help you out. Here are our 2 landscape staples. Sometimes you don't even need these if the plant is branchy enough.
No, I really am that stuck. That's why I'm not trying to reach that high. One of these here, and one of these here. push them down. Slowly disconnect from the rose.
Just rip yourself off like a Band-Aid.
And now this single Reminiscent pink is ready to go for winter. There's 7 of them here.
Wow, this is a prickly rose.
Told ya.
This is a brand new variety of rose from Proven Winners called Reminiscent Yellow. And so I think it has basically the same attributes as Reminiscent Pink, right, Christopher?
You know, if I'm not mistaken, it might be a tiny bit smaller, but it's the clearest, pretty yellow rose. We got to see one in Michigan that was in flower.
And they were planted just maybe 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, and not too
Little
long.
1-gallon specimens, you might remember. So they're very young. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them some extra compost. 18 inches will certainly protect these from the rabbits.
And in particular, because they're so young, they probably wouldn't rebound if they got fully decimated this.
Yeah,
in
because
their
they don't have
first
that root
winter.
system established to have to give them the strength to rebound. See, lots of little critter holes back here. Things are scurrying around and burying and getting ready for the winter in our garden.
Yes, it seems big, but we're learning that they always have to be bigger than you think.
And we could, I guess, go around and make one big, huge loop around this, but what we've discovered in the past is it kind of affects the integrity of the loop and it ends up kind of collapsing onto itself. So it's worth the effort to just go ahead and make an individual little house for your rose. All right, so these are protected from rabbits.
This is it. We did it. We didn't have to do any pruning. We didn't have to do any other work on it. So these are good to go. And these cages will stay all year long. We'll probably plant some low annuals in front of it and you will never see these. So this is Flavorette paired, which was newly planted this year. I believe it was new out this year as well. Beautiful shell pink, kind of tasty flower that has been sprayed. So I will not be getting my face in there that close. We have learned that this is another sprawler. So the Flavorette honey apricot gets very tall, but this definitely, it spreads its largesse around. So
I love it though.
this is definitely going to be getting a big pruning this year or next year, because I really want to work on getting some structure down at the base of it, especially if it's going to be such a sprawler. So in this case, it's probably going to look a little brutal, but I know that I'm going to be doing quite a number on this anyway in spring. And
It's a great rose though. I was so impressed with how robust it was. Again, it's another super healthy variety. I mean, look at that foliage.
Big time. I believe the Flavorette and the Reminiscent series roses all come from the same family breeder in Serbia. And
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I think I've heard something like that. Really pretty though. This, I think, you know, honey Flavorette honey apricot has been my favorite Proven Winners rose for years now. This one is rivaling that. I would say they might even be tied.
Yeah, I feel like if this rose came out before honey apricot came out, you would have been calling this your favorite the whole time.
I mean, it's just, and you know, I mean, people who have been watching our videos for a long time know that I'm just like, oh, another pink rose, great. But for a pink rose, this one is really gorgeous.
Don't let him fool you. He ordered 3 more pink roses for spring.
I did. But they're like really nice pink roses.
This gave us quite a few solid flushes this year too. And I do think that roses in their first year, you really can't judge them too harshly because they need to settle in and make decisions about themselves before they come back and give you those mega shows. All right, that's actually about all I wanted to do. And you can see this is a rough approach. I just wanted to also be able for us to get in there at the base of these roses because they are so horizontal.
And what do you think about this Rise Up Lilac Days growing on this trellis? I gotta tell you, Christopher, I don't like this trellis.
I don't like this trellis either.
Phew.
I was thinking that we could, because we know it's a short climber, it's not gonna be sprawling and go all the way down the fence. What if we just did a trellis, something on either side, and had it go sideways? You know, and got some of that more horizontal.
Like one that we have like Willerton Old Hall on or something?
Yeah, something that we've trained other roses on.
Yeah. God,
There's,
our fence is so dirty. Look at that.
that was dahlias that got glued and died on the fence. Because this Rise Up Lilac Days, it did well. It got transplanted this year. Let me just chop it. But I think taking this trellis off and coming up with a new situation for it would be better.
Yes, I agree.
Either that, or we put a honeysuckle like a Kinsley's Ghost on this side of the fence as well, and put trellises in either side. And then we would have Kinsley's Ghost that way, Kinsley's Ghost that way. And then we'd have the De Ruyter grow up in front of it. We'd have Powerball hydrangeas kind of capping it right here.
As soon as you pointed out the De Ruyter, I was like, oh, blue on blue is not going to work for me. But there is a new dark leaf clematis coming out next year.
That's true.
That would look really pretty here in this area. So maybe that's what we grow up the trellis.
And the thing about roses, they're hardy. They're transplantable. You don't have to be as precious with them as I think we've heard for so many years. So this Rise Up might be getting another transplant.
It just might.
I think it would be, imagine the dark leaf clematis, which I think has a pink flower. I haven't seen too many pictures yet, but with the beautiful bright pink and green.
Yeah. All right, you're selling me. I think that, I can't remember the name of it, but it's new for 2026. We'll share it when it arrives in the spring, but I'm really excited for that. But let's get some compost down and get these protected for the winter. Ta-da! Our Sensation honeysuckle has been in the ground since 2022. We have it on this pretty sturdy obelisk that I really like the shape of, but it is doing a little bit of a tumbly effect, which you know, Christopher, I love.
I also love the tumbling effect. I think I like it because this is such a big obelisk.
Yes, I think in the spring, so what we initially were gonna do is come over and kind of prune off these rogue things, but we've seen so many birds enjoying the berries that I think we're just gonna leave it till the spring.
Yeah, let's leave it till the spring. There's also quite a bit of dead down here that oh, there we go, dead that needs to be cleaned up. And once those sort of little yucky pieces are cleaned up, it'll encourage new growth to fill in down there as well.
Yeah, let's wait till spring to clean this up because the birds are enjoying it too much.
And I'm enjoying it too much, frankly.
We just have to be wary of any westwardly winds that could catch on it and start to tilt it. But this honeysuckle is pretty substantial. I don't think it's gonna, this obelisk isn't gonna go anywhere.
No, because it's also now got vines that go up almost all 6 of the pillars.
But I do want to show you our Kinsley's Ghost. I am gonna just prune off some quick rogue branches. This is one of our favorite plants in the garden. It's probably our most asked about, most talked about plant in the garden.
That's for sure.
It's really a stunner. It has been in there, what, since 2020, 2021?
Yeah, as a quart size.
Yeah, just a tiny little quart size at the base of these 3 trellises that we zip tied together. I don't have to prune this back. I'm just doing it to get some of the rogue branches out of the way for aesthetics, and again, to protect from any snow that's gonna collect on them.
They do look a little bit wonky. There has been discussion, maybe it was discussion in my head, about adding one more trellis to this side. I don't know, what do you think about doing that?
I think we definitely could.
Also, I just realized as you're doing that, there is an ornamental grass that's now officially completely covered by hydrangeas. So if I want to save that, I guess I would have to pull that out.
No, it's doing very well. It grew to its full size this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not inhibited.
It's not growth inhibited.
It's not doing its thing.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm just gonna go along. Oh, see, that is actually coming up from over here. Because normally you don't have to do anything to this Kinsley's Ghost Honeysuckle. It'll just
Keep going.
keep going.
Eric, describe, I'm forgetting how to describe what kind of honeysuckle this is. It's non-invasive.
It's a non-invasive. What's funny is it's a native species or native cultivar, but it's a European style honeysuckle that is non-invasive. That was a little confusing to me when I first heard that.
So I guess maybe it's a European style, but it's our style European.
I guess so.
That's funny.
But it has a funny, there's some interesting like lore you can read about it online. As far as it growing on the grave of the guy who discovered it and things like that. So there's some fun stories if you Google Kinsley's Ghost Honeysuckle. It's a super unique variety that has eucalyptus-like bracts on it. And now what's great is Proven Winners has taken it on and they have started to produce it.
So it's a little more readily available.
Which is great. So they didn't invent it, but they are now growing it for distribution and sales at local garden centers. So something that used to be very hard to find is now going to be something that you can get at your local garden center, or you can order it online.
Now, this beautiful, gorgeous shrub that Eric is being dwarfed by right now, that is the Winecraft Black Smoke Bush.
Yep.
That we are not doing anything to right now. These leaves will fall. It won't be damaged in any way. And that doesn't matter because we're going to coppice this to almost the ground. This will be cut flush to the ground, and then we get these beautiful, large, vibrant leaves.
Yeah, so our climbing shrub, our Kinsley's Ghost is all taken care of. We'll leave the sensation so the birds can enjoy the berries. The berries are already gone on this one. But we have a lot of deadheading to do. So we're gonna save these flowers and get to work.
If you want to see some of these plants in their prime, take a look at this video here on the screen, our May Garden Tour.
Thanks for joining us today. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.